A young girl sits wondering why the loud shots blazing in the background always mean sadness. Her brother Mashi has just been collected, and a guard comes to collect her in just the same way. He hits her with a force he believes will never make her want to utter another word, let alone breathe. 9 years old. She grows quieter, but not weaker. Inhaling the abuse and ignorance of confused men, the sun begins to set on her playground. As the chains that bound her to a land she could never love grow heavier, so does her heart. After escaping the concentration camps of the Holocaust, Alicia Appelman Germain writes, a person could actually become a part of the living dead. Could go on living but feel nothing, not pain, not fear, not sorrow. In realizing that, she was determined to do the complete opposite, and she wrote a book into the mind of that young girl, and I'd like for others to see that in the end, life is what you make of it. And education will help with whatever you want that to be. Whatever I want to be. Just about everyone, adults especially, will say that kids think that they're invincible. And they're right. I like to think that I am. Scientific fact, my energy cannot be destroyed, only changed and manifested into new creations. The Bible says that I can do all things through Him, so yeah, I am invincible, and as I stand here and think that, I realize I don't quite yet know what to do with that superpower. And yes, it is a superpower to be able to face each day, one after the other, thinking that I am capable of conquering what today has for me. Obama says, yes, we can. How? I go to school to learn how, to learn why, and when I get the diploma, the roadmap of my life will still be a little fuzzy, and I'm going to get lost or need to make a detour, and I know that I have my education to fall back on. A map key to explain all the confusing parts I still won't understand, and that comforts me. That comforts me, but it doesn't seem to comfort everyone else. Over the years, the word education, it's lost its value, its luster, its truth. I used to work at this daycare over the summer, and I remember a kid saying, my swagger is too much for them to handle. I am not a nerd. He said that. He proclaimed it like it was something to be proud of, and I remember then thinking, but one of my favorite authors, John Green, he said, for someone to say I notice you're a nerd is like someone saying I notice you'd rather be intelligent than be stupid, that you'd rather be thoughtful than be vapid, that you realize that there are things that matter more than the arrest record of Lindsay Lohan. To be educated is not synonymous with the phrase I am better than everyone else, but that I am a sponge who can still take on living water. Think of young Martin Luther King Jr. He's sitting looking outside his window, wondering why he can no longer play ball with certain friends, why he can't drink from certain fountains, why God-given mouths speak words of the complete opposite of godly. Malcolm X said tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Dr. King knew that there needed to be a change, and that if he wanted to see one, he had to go out and do it himself. He had to prepare. On June 5th, 1955, he received his Doctor of Philosophy from Boston College. On that day, on that special day, he was able to look at every single one of his secret admirers and tell them he had a love letter for the world, and they listened. Not only because his subject agreed with his predicate, but the adjectives he was using to describe these forbidden verbs punctured the noun seemingly invisible parts. And the change came. The change came, but there's still change to come. The change came, but we still need that change. Don't think it was easy for Dr. King. Yes, he was extraordinary and spectacular and all the other razzle-dazzle words your imagination can discover, but so are you. Your past may create these concrete fences around the world you hold in the present, and it may be disguised as anger or laziness, but I know that those walls are layered to be a symbol that shows that that was never a pot of gold at the end of your rainbow. Because the rainbow's never existed, it still pours rain in your storm, and school feels like that gushing wind wanting to steal your umbrella, but it's got a disguise too. It's really that bottom pool, that base tub, that tilt mechanism that holds the whole thing together. It makes you strong. Not that you weren't strong and mighty before, but every skyscraper needs its foundation, or it falls. You will fall, because this world can make worms meat of all of us. We've learned that in the 1/3 of the story our textbooks tell us. But I've still got faith the size of a mustard seed, and with that one mustard seed, the photosynthesis of my life will continue, and maybe one day I'll realize that those heroes, those heroines of our past were maybe just the rough draft. And my education forms the red pen that goes through all their troubled lines, and I'll stand as the final copy. What if my generation and generations to come embrace that, and My daughter, she stands here before you and says that I am the rough draft and she's the final copy. Then we'd all be invincible.
I thought it important that we recognize Ebonee, so with the governing body's consent, we've crafted a certificate of appreciation to Ebonee Johnson, and it reads, whereas Ebonee's been involved with her church and her youth programs for more than 6 years, and whereas she is an 11th grade student at Manassas Park High School and has been elected president of the class of 2013, a future politician. And whereas she's a 2-year member of Beta and vice president of the International Thespian Troupe, and whereas she's been a 3-year participant in the Manassas Park High School theater program, and whereas she's the only student at Manassas Park High School to ever make it to the final 3 at the Martin Luther King Oratorical contest held to recognize the accomplishments of Dr. King during Black History Month. The theme of her speech was the power and persuasion of education, with a focus on the works of Dr. King. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Manassas Park governing body meeting its regular session on February 28, 2012, commends Ebonee Johnson for making it to the final 3 of the Dr. King Oratorical contest and for her many accomplishments at Manassas Park High School, and wishes her much success in her future endeavors. Governing body's pleasure on approval of the certificate of appreciation with text is provided.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously, as I sort of thought it would. Ebonee, congratulations. Really appreciate it.